I've experienced living at a Zen center, and you know, it's nice when people show up and you can tell they're at least interested, you know, to see what it's like. But sometimes talking about it, and people say, "Oh, what do you mean you practice Zen?" Blah blah blah. And you tell them about it. They come to the Zen center and they see people saying, "Oh, you can't hold the books like that. Oh, the left foot goes like the right foot goes first. The cushion goes to the right." The list goes on, and all these rules and rules and rules. And then you sit at a retreat, and everybody that has a long robe tells the other people that have shorter robes that don't know how to do some of the forms and all this, keep going and telling people rules and correcting the forms. And can you just share some insight on, because...
Yeah. So you can use the form or be attached to the form, as we probably have seen, right? Every Zen center is the same, by the way. The smallest Zen center I lived in had 5 people. The largest one at most had 20. Same, you see it everywhere. So I always like to say an interesting thing too about the Buddha. You know, before the Buddha started practicing, he was very attached to name and form, just like we are. But then we say he realized enlightenment. He was no longer attached to name and form, right? We call that before thinking. And then he got up from the tree, and then for 49 years used name and form to help, right? So there's attachment to name and form, no name and form, use name and form. So we have to experience this no name and form first before we can use it in a way that's helpful, whatever it is. Right now we're talking about forms in the Dharma room, but I'm talking about anything, even this word I. We say, some people say, "Oh, ego is so bad." It's not bad. We know we create it, but that doesn't mean we can't use it, right? You could use I if you want, in a way that's helpful. Here, tell me if you can tell a difference in statements. "I hate you." "I hope you go to hell." I has some direction to it. Now let's see if you can hear this. "May I help you?" has a different direction, right? Mm-hmm. So usually we don't understand I, that's why we cause so much trouble. Usually we don't understand the form, so that's why we cause a lot of trouble. So first is we have to perceive our true self, which is before name and form. And then we can use name and form in a way that's helpful. So when I did my first summer Kilche retreat in Providence, it was the first time I was sitting with my teacher, Zen Master De Kwang. And wow, I was the moktak master, and I've been practicing maybe 3 years. And every single time after chanting, he would correct me on something. And I'm not just talking about you're hitting it too loud, which, you know, could hurt people's ears, right? Or you're going so slow, it's just like, we're going to be done at midnight for the last 2 chants. But it was, "Oh, you're keeping your head too high. You're losing your energy. Bring your head down." Okay. "Oh, when you do the 3 steps back from the altar, they're too long. Take shorter steps." I was like, "God, this guy must be an asshole." And this is, if you know him, he has this style. But what I realized later, and it took a little time, that I started near the end of the retreat, right, the last week, I started noticing everything I was doing when I was approaching the altar, getting the moktak, doing the chanting, putting it back on. Every single moment I was noticing, which I wasn't doing before, you know. When you've been here for a while, you're just kind of like, "Yeah, you slop it on the altar. You see this bow." But it was interesting. I said, that's what the form is for. So, as Dharma teachers in training, we have to learn to first know form, right? Perceive this mind before any kind of form. And then we can have a clear direction of what the form is for. The form is to help us pay attention. That's it. And then when you go to a different place, you'll be watching, right? You go to a place where you've seen people sit like this, right? Then that's how you sit. Maybe it's freestyle. You can do whatever you want. That's what you do, whatever. So wherever you go, you start to blend in. You start to be able to go into different situations and actually notice things and connect. Because the practice is about connection, right? Connecting to the moment and responding to that. So when we're taking the form, remember we're using it to wake up. If we're teaching the form, we have to remember that we're using it to help wake up, not to control. Because usually form goes the other way, right? I'm going to control everybody. Because I don't like the chanting this way, so I'm going to do it that way. I don't like. That's why I love being the head Dharma teacher. If you ever have a chance to do it, take it up, because you really get to see your own mind. Because a job for a head Dharma teacher is to make announcements and to correct the form, right? So everyone is doing it together. So I would remember in announcements, I would check myself, and like, am I doing this because I don't like it? Or am I doing it to make the retreat smooth and harmonious? And often I would see that it was something I didn't like, so I would shut up. But if I saw it was causing a problem or some kind of disconnection, I would make an announcement. So that's how you approach it.